Professor Joanna Madalińska-Michalak is a very famous personality in Poland, an honorary patron of many events, a famous professor, so we are very humbled and honored with this collaboration, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Anna, for the invitation. I will try to short my presentation as my colleague from United States did, but I couldn't promise. So what I would like to talk about today, it will be about the inclusion and how the collaborative works can help to empowering inclusion education. And because most of you, I assume, are not from Poland, I thought that it might be useful for you to share with you some facts about Poland as a country, and especially the situation of children in Poland. So as you know, Poland, it is the country that the population is more than 37 millions, and what we see regarding our demography, that the population is aging, because for example, if you will look at this data, you see that within 10 years the percentage of children in Poland decrease around 3%. It is, I think, a lot. And as far as children with the special education needs are concerned, our statistics shows that we have around 4.1% of these students at our school. So it is still a lot, and we have a lot to work to support them. In Poland, we have the country research on the mental health of our population, and is it prepared by National Institute of Public Health, and what we can learn from this research, that as far as the youngest children are concerned, we can find that at least, let me say, two most common problems with the children, which is visible in two dimensions: emotional and affective disorder, which is observed in over 6% of our children up to 6 years old, and adaptive disorders, social communication disorder, and disorders in interacting with others, which affects over 4% of children. And as far as let me say, elder children are concerned, from this report we can learn that the disorder are found in approximately 16% of children, which is, I think, a lot. And in this report we see that now new, let me say, mental problems they emerge, and there are different factors that influence on them. And what we can learn from this report also, that the factors that influence on these different kind of disorders, and among the factors, the researchers, they notice that the place of living is one of the most influential factor, because children in rural area, where in Poland we have the, let me say, less support that in the cities, they suffer more often regarding these disorders. And as you know, when we look at the education, usually we refer to OECD study, this international PISA study, 2022, not only in Poland, but I think that across the world. It was an educational shock connected with time of probably time post-COVID. And we noticed that Poland as a country should know that at the beginning of 2000 we were a kind of the failure, but then we were among the achievers, because we were in the the top of the list of OECD. And 2022, we notice a huge drop in our children educational achievements in all the, let me say, areas that are concerned. And still, if we will look at the tables, we will notice that we are at the top, but it is not among the 10 the best, let me say, countries. We are among, we have now the position around 17, 18. It depends on the area that it is concerned. So what we can learn from this OECD report, let me say that people who try to analyze this report, they notice that in the center of our consideration, we should put not only these educational achievements, but we should put teachers, and we should think how we can support teachers, because teachers, as we learn from COVID time, they were like the key ingredients in the students' success. And another findings is that teacher education continues to play a key role in transforming education. And as you know, teacher education nowadays is understood very broadly, because we don't only think about the teacher trainings that we have usually at the universities, but we think about the teacher education like a lifelong learning process. So we try to take into account also socialization into the profession, then the teacher education at the university, and then the teacher professional development. And I would like to share with you also some very interesting findings, because these, I think, are the most important ones. As far as we look at the student's sense of belonging at the school and satisfaction with life, we can notice that Polish students, relatively, they have rather, let me say, low perception of belonging to the school, and they are not so much happy with their life. You can notice that student satisfaction with life more generally decline in many countries, but in Poland, let me say that each fifth student say that it's not satisfied with their life. So there is the question about the future of these students. When we will look at the features that visualize these findings, you can see the statistic. As you know, 2 years ago, we had a very, let me say, difficult time. Anna, as a vice rector of this university, she personally supported a lot of children, families from Ukraine, because this academy is situated so close to the West train station, and refugees, let me say in this way, people who migrate from Ukraine to Poland mainly, the first, let me say, stop was at this West train station. And we observed that our society has changed a lot, because the society in the past was very coherent. We have had rather small, let me say, small number of people from different backgrounds, and nowadays Poland has changed, and the group of students from Ukraine it's huge. And regarding the mental health in Poland, UNICEF decided to take the study and directly contact with the Ukraine children, and the research was very interesting, because they use photos, and they try to children to make reflections on the different pictures, and they started to talk about their life in Poland. And the report has a very significant title. The title is like here: undoubtedly it is school here, but a true home is one's own home. And I really recommend this report because it shows us the feelings of these children, how they perceive their lives in Poland. And as you know, these children, they are the students at the Polish schools. So when we talk about the mental health, when we talk about the social inclusion, we should pay attention to this group of the students. And from the report, we can learn that children from Ukraine, they express feelings of longing for people, pets, for the places that they left in their home country. Some children, they became apathic and they have the problem with the, let me say, the proper functioning. They have the tendencies to sleep longer than they should, and they feel that they are overwhelmed by the stress. And over half of the students, they said that they would like to talk to the professional about their mental health. And in Poland, it was a few years ago when we introduced the Polish, Polish order, and the specific program by our previous government. We noticed how much the professional support for children and young people is important. And probably you know that last year we have had the election and we have the new government. What is interesting about the new government, they started to look at the teachers at the school and at children and young people, and they put into the center the, let me say, well-being. And mental health is very crucial nowadays for our politicians, and they said that we have to support as much as possible this group of people, because the future is connected with them. And it was the last day of February, 29th of February, when we had the huge conference which was organized by the National Institute of Research Education and the Ministry of Education, and the program which is called Supporting Education Accessibility for Children and Youth was introduced. However, this accessibility doesn't mean that it's only about the access to the education, but it is about the quality of education. And during this conference, what was interesting, especially for me, because I look sometimes very selectively, my research area are teachers and teacher education, but I was really happy that the people who gather at this conference, they noticed that if we really would like to make any changes in our education, we should first of all take care of our teachers. Poland as a country now is completely different country than we had even 10 years ago. Never we have experienced the shortage of teachers, and now we have a lot of problem with that in a very short time, because it was 2019 when firstly we noticed that our teachers, they were really unsatisfied with the working conditions, and they decided to go on the strike. And this teacher strikes has changed a lot among the teachers at the school regarding the school atmosphere and so on. And the previous government even didn't want to talk to the teacher union. So one of the first, let me say, actions of this new government was to focus on the teachers, which is for sure very positive sign. And this conference show us some recommendations. What is important to do when we try to think about the proper quality education at the school. And as you see, we have such recommendations like the development of students' emotional and social competencies, building a school community with a focus on a sense of community, community and belonging, ensuring a good relationship at the school, support for specialist teachers in providing them with the methodological and practical guidance, and so on. And in this, let me say, because of the restriction of time, in this way I try to present you a little bit about the Poland and situation, let me say, the conditions that have influence on the issue of social inclusion and the mental health of children. So let us move to the end of this presentation, and I will try to pay attention to some, let me say, directions as far as the future is concerned. So for sure what we see currently is this broad concern about children and young people well-being in Poland. This is the situation that we have, and this situation is connected with the reality in which we are now. Then we see that in Poland is important regarding research, greater access to early childhood education and care, especially at the rural area. Poland, it was like 20 years ago, we were one of the, let me say, lowest rate of entrance to the early childhood education and care in Europe. After us, it was Albania. We have done a lot. We introduced a lot of different forms of early childhood education and care, different forms, but still we see that, especially as I mentioned, the rural area, it's a lot to do. And when we try to think about the future, I think that we can identify a lot of interesting policy trends which are connected with this initiative to support health and well-being. And as I mentioned, teachers, they play a fundamental role in education process. I was happy that last year, after, let me say, long time, because 2 years we work on the special issue for European Journal of Teacher Education, and this special issue is about the teachers, and with Professor Maria Flores and Professor Lynn Goodwin from Hong Kong, now from United States, we prepared the chapter about the teacher education, and in our chapter we try to look like from the above what happens now within the teacher education, of course not only in our countries but across the world, and we propose some main themes in our chapters that can be helpful for the researchers to analyze teacher education. And one theme is about the teacher learning, efficacy and well-being. I mentioned how much well-being of children is important and youngsters. Nevertheless, if we will not take care of teachers' well-being, it's hard to demand from the teachers that they will be really effective, successful in their work. And the research, when we talk about this teacher learning, efficacy and well-being, about the expectations of teachers, attraction of the teaching profession, emphasis on professional development and investment in teacher education. If we will make the assumption that teachers, they play a central role in creating inclusive learning environment where all students, including those with intellectual and developmental disabilities, they feel valued and supported, we should try to create the conditions for this situation that must happen, I would say. And from my point of view, teachers, they should serve as the facilitators of learning. They should be like the advocates for student needs, and they should play role models for inclusive behaviors, because we are talking about the inclusive education at the school, and sometimes we don't think how teachers behave at the daily, let me say, life at the school. So the teacher education, which is directly connected with the, let me say, with the support for teachers, how to work on the social inclusion at the school is, I think, a priority nowadays. And I would like to pay attention to this last, let me say, statement, that observation that is important personally for me, because from my point of view, the importance of collaborative efforts in creating inclusive learning environments for children and young people with intellectual and developmental disabilities is like the priority for the schools, especially in Poland nowadays. So this social inclusion at the school, I would see like a collaborative efforts, and we can say about the inclusive school. So the issues that I tackle during my presentation, just a short summary, they were about the context of education in Poland, the context that influence on a situation of children. I try to match this context with the situation regarding the international reports on education, and especially the situation connected with the children well-being, and then I direct your attention to the policy that happens currently in Poland, and then a few words about the looking into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.